Joke number 114.
Okay, there's a modern-day Little Red Riding Hood, and she's got a little short red skirt, little satin bow, and she's skipping through the forest on the way to grandmother's house. And on the way through the forest, she meets a construction worker who's framing up a house. He says, "Where are you going, little girl?" And she says, "I'm going on my way to grandmother's house." And he says, "All by yourself through these deep, dark woods?" And she says, "Yes, I have a basket of goodies, and I'm going to give them to my grandma." And he said, "You have to come to my truck." And he goes to his truck, and he takes out a gun, and he gives it to her, and he says, "There are wolves in these woods, and you have to be very careful." She takes the gun, puts it in her basket, doesn't even think twice about it, says, "Oh, thank you, Mr. Construction Worker. Thank you." She skips on her way, and when she gets to Grandma's house, we all know the story. She goes in. The wolf's in bed. He jumps out in Grandma's nightgown, and he says, "My Grandma, what big ears you have." And he says, "Oh, the better to hear you with, my dear." And she says, "My Grandma, what big eyes you have." He says, "Oh, the better to see you with, my dear." And so she says, "My Grandma, what big teeth you have." And the wolf jumps out of bed, and he's got a big one. He says, "Oh, yeah, and I'm going to screw your brains out, little girl." And she says, pulls out the gun and says, "No, you're not. You're going to eat me like the book says."